Peace, family. Peace, peace, peace. And welcome to the presentation that I called The Attack on the Blood. Okay. Uh, Many of you have been anticipating this presentation. I have been working on this for the last few weeks. And my research, I've been working on that for like the last few months. Okay. So I'm so happy to finally get this out so that we can be more equipped to defend ourselves and our temple during this time of this physical and cellular attack. Okay, so for anyone who doesn't know me, my name is Shakirah Moore. I am a certified holistic iridologist. And what iridology is the study of the eyes and the ability to reveal illnesses by looking into the eyes. Okay, so the eyes are complete. The eyes are a complete map of the human body, okay, detailing stages of inflammation in each organ. So I'll be able to tell how your lungs are functioning, how your kidneys are functioning, your heart, everything, just by looking into your eyes. Okay, so I do hold consultations. If anyone is interested, I'll leave all my information in the video, and also again at the end. And also I'm an herbalist, so I have many different herbal blends that I use to help cleanse the body, cleanse the human body. And once I know exactly what's going on with you through your iridology consultation, I know exactly what herb you need. So there's no guessing. There's no, okay, because some people they feel that something is wrong, and they'll rush to the store, they'll rush to an herbal store or health food store, and they'll get something, not knowing that the herb may harm them or more than help them, or just not simply the right herb that they need to cleanse what's going on with them. So what I do, there is no guessing. Everything will be tailored to you. So if I see something going on in the lungs, I'll know that you'll need a lung cleanse. If I see something going on in the kidneys, I have a kidney bladder blend that I created to help cleanse the kidneys and strengthen the kidneys, okay? So that's just a little bit about me. And what you're going to experience for the next, I want to say hour. I don't know how long this presentation is going to last. Could be an hour or maybe two. I'm not sure, but I'll tell you it's going to be a well worth of your time. Okay, and again, I appreciate each and every one of you for listening and giving me your time, as it is very expensive, especially right now. Okay, so what we're going to be talking about, I call the presentation The Attack on the Blood. Okay, like what's going on a deeper level that we're not understanding, okay, that we're not digesting. Okay, are we taking the right precautions with our health as far as defending ourselves of what's going on? Many of us call this a biological attack, or it's man-made, okay? But what are we doing against this, okay? A lot of, there's news reports saying that they have already predicted a second wave in the fall. And we've already experienced a great loss of people perishing already. So many people are perishing, especially the younger, even in their 20s and 30s are perishing. So we have to really grasp and understand what's going on, what we can do. Let's be informed so that we can know how to move, okay? There's an old Chinese proverb that says, you don't dig a well for water after you become thirsty. You don't pick up a sword after the fight has started. No, you make sure that you're prepared so that you don't suffer. Unnecessary lives are not unnecessarily lost, okay? That you're living on the defense as far as defending the temple, defending the body at all times. We have a built-in army in our bodies, a built-in military system in our bodies, and that's called your immune or defense system, or what many people call it immune, but I call it defense system, okay? Because your body is constantly changing. It'll defend you depending on what you arm it with, okay? So we have to know how to arm the body and what we can do to stay protected and stay guided. Okay, so we're gonna go into it, and I thank you all for watching. I thank you all for listening, and this is going to be definitely worth it, worth the anticipation. All right, so I'm gonna share my screen. All right, family, the attack on the blood is what I call this, the attack on the blood. So we're going to cover different things here during this presentation, okay? So first thing, what we need to understand about the current crisis, how the blood is the foundation of cellular life. Are the methods Western medicine is using saving us or destroying us? Solutions to our health challenges by the way of ancient secrets, okay? So we're gonna go into that, touch on each of these topics so that we know what we can do and we'll understand better of how the temple works, okay? So of course I have to say this, all right? For anyone who's watching and, you know, claiming that, you know, she said this and, you know, I'm reported later on, I have to protect myself. And this goes to anyone in the room, whether it be an officer or anyone in high up in that institutions. This is being displayed to anyone, okay? So I'll read it here. Please be advised, the presentation that is being presented is strictly for educational purposes. The information provided is not to be misconstrued for treatment of any diseases. The content of this information is through cited sources from news platforms, doctors, scientists, and researchers. I encourage everyone listening to the information to do your due diligence and research as well so that you may come into an awareness for yourselves. I hope this information finds you in time to protect yourself in this time of silent warfare. May we all be protected. Ashe. Okay, so this is to make sure that the family understands that this is to educate you. This is to arm you to make sure that you know what you can do during this time, okay? So this is not any promise of anything, okay? I don't make any promises, okay? You work with your body. If you want to do something, you're listening to the information, this is what I'm giving to you, okay? All right, so we're just gonna jump right into it. All right, what is the role of the blood? Okay, we're a walking temple and we don't even understand how this temple works, what's inside the temple, and what keeps us going, okay? Blood it keeps us going. It keeps the oxygen in our bodies, okay? It keeps us moving, okay? It keeps us breathing, okay? So this is something so important for us to understand so that we'll know better how to protect ourselves. Okay, blood is considered an important component of an individual's life force. Your blood circulates throughout the entire body, regulating the organs and maintaining balance. Clean, functioning blood is the key to the sustainment of the organism and carries forth an important role in all bodily systems, okay? So we're just gonna read some of these systems here and just would talk about it and touch on it and understand the importance of healthy and adequate blood flow, okay? So it's responsible for the endocrine system, which is what I call the pharmaceutical company of your body, releasing of hormones by transportation of adequate blood flow, okay? So if you don't have adequate blood flow throughout the body, those hormones don't get transported throughout the body. And that's when you find pancreas disruption and reproductive disruption, okay? All of that comes from lack of blood supply, lack of adequate blood supply and clean blood supply, okay? Your nervous system, that's the central nervous system and the peripheral nervous system, okay? The reproductive system, your lymphatic system, which is houses the military system in your body. Okay, we talked about how you have a built-in military system, and your lymphatic system is responsible for that. In fact, while you're sleeping, your body is constantly at work for you. Your lymphatic system, it searches and scans the entire body looking for pathogens and invader cells that may be there. And if it is, it destroys it. And you wonder why you're sick the night before and you wake up feeling refreshed. And like, oh, I feel better, because your body was at work, your army was at work for you while you were sleeping, okay? So you can thank your lymphatic system for that, all right? Your waste system, that's your colon, your digestive system, your urinary system, kidneys, your bladder, your urethra, and your immune defense system, your white blood cells known as your military cells, okay? So red blood cells are critical oxygen carriers, okay? Your RBCs, okay, your red blood cells are critical oxygen carriers, dispersing oxygen to various cells in the body, okay? So the red blood cells contains a molecule known as hemoglobin. Now, family, I want you to remember that word throughout the entire presentation, hemoglobin, because it's going to be important and it's going to tie into everything that I'm discussing to you right now, okay? Which inside contains heme groups. The heme groups has a molecular ring that holds an iron ion, okay? How many of us know that without iron, you're constantly cold, or you have anemia? All of these are blood-related disorders, okay? Iron is crucial for the transportation of oxygen through the RBC, red blood cells. Oxygen is essential for life. Without a continuous supply, we would quickly die, okay? So this is so important for us to understand, all right? That we need our red blood cells at a high level, okay? We need, the iron is located inside the hemoglobin, and that's what transport the oxygen from one cell to the other. So for example, from the heart to the lungs, all of this on the backstory, okay, has all this to do with the hemoglobin, okay, with the red blood cells. Okay, so we have to really pay attention here and understand how our body works and the role of the blood. Okay. All right, so these are just a couple of reports that I felt that I wanted to share with you all. These are some of the research that I did. As again, when I said in the beginning, I encourage you all to study on your own so that you can have your own awareness and that you can have your own understanding. Okay, it's better when you actually do it yourself so that it's stored in your retention center. Okay, so these are some of the reports that I have listed here that must read. Research reveals that COVID-19 attacks the hemoglobin. Okay, remember family, remember what I said, remember that word throughout the entire presentation. Research shows that the COVID-19 attacks hemoglobin in red blood cells, rendering it incapable of transporting oxygen. Okay, current medical protocols could all be wrong. Okay, so whatever was going on, okay, and we'll get to that in later slides. If the COVID-19 is attacking the red blood cells, you're not able to get enough oxygen flow throughout the body, which means that your body, your cells is not able to regenerate and move the oxygen from one cell to another, one organ to another through the transportation of the blood. Okay, so we're gonna go more into why that is. Okay, what's causing this disruption? Okay, that COVID-19 research. Okay, you see the dates here. These are some of the findings. Okay, has revealed that the SARS-CoV-2 coronavirus attacks the hemoglobin. Remember, oxygen is essential for life. It's essential for you're still breathing, for you to be here. So this is what's going on when people are perishing. It's attacking the red blood cells, okay? Through a series of cellular actions. that ultimately renders the red blood cells incapable of transporting oxygen, okay? This always happens. Okay, we're gonna stop that here, go here. Okay. This does that. All right. Okay. Just constantly hold on, y'all, because having this issue before. I want to say, there we go. Okay. All right, so these are the quotes from the article that I just shared with you all, quotes from the previous article published by Thailand Medical News, okay? And again, this is research that you can do on your own, okay? So this is what they're saying in this article. The research discovered that some of these proteins are to hijack the red blood cells and remove the iron ions from the heme group and replace themselves with it. This makes the hemoglobin unable to transport oxygen. As a result, the lungs are stressed out and inflamed while the rest of the organs are also being affected. The so-called ARDS and subsequent organ failure could be attributed to this. Okay, so the lungs are, they're inflamed. It gets frustrating because now it doesn't have the blood flow it needs to put out the carbon dioxide that it needs to. Okay, so the blood flows and you constantly breathing out carbon dioxide and breathing in oxygen. If the blood does not flow through the lungs, carbon dioxide builds up, causing lung diseases, causing respiratory failures, okay? This is why in the beginning when when this coronavirus first broke out, that everything was reported was lung attacks, respiratory distress. People were dying or perishing from respiratory illnesses. And this is why the use of the ventilators became about. That, oh, the person is not getting enough oxygen, okay? Because the blood is not flowing from the heart to the lungs, okay? So here, these are the quotes here. Through the virus is able to attack the ACE2 receptors in the lung tissues and cause damage. And also while cytokine storms are creating more damage, it is most probability of the body's inability to get enough oxygen with carbon dioxide buildup that is creating the so-called ARDS symptoms and stress. And current protocols could be all wrong, including the usage of ventilators in a non-proper way that could actually aggravate already injured and inflamed lungs. Okay, so we're using ventilators in an attempt to get more oxygen to the body. Okay, but if the body is not getting oxygen through the removal of the iron ions in the heme group of the hemoglobin, how is that related to using of the ventilators? Is the ventilators going to give oxygen in that way that the iron is produced? Will it produce iron oxygen or replace the iron ions that was removed from the hemoglobin? Okay, so when I said, is the Western medicine saving us or destroying us? Okay, we're gonna go to the next slide and see. Okay, let's see, make sure I had it. Okay, so this one, I guess it's on the next slide. I kind of switched the slides, but yes, I have another article talking about the ventilators, and that this could be an all wrong approach of approaching what's going on. Okay, so we're going to take a look at this. I titled it Blood Clots, Strokes, and COVID-19. So this is something that I actually researched within the last few weeks and decided to add this to the slide. That's why I kind of got a little, off topic there, because I have the next slide as showing the studies of the ventilators and what the ventilators could be doing. But here, I'll share this as well so that it'll all come into one. Okay, so blood clots, strokes, and COVID-19. Okay, so this is an article that was dated May 14th. That's only about a few days ago. And this guy, he was in the hospital. He's 27 years old, and he had a stroke. And this was, I believe it was in Queens, or yeah, in Queens, that he had a stroke. And he was admitted to the hospital, and they're saying that he made a recovery, and he's just learning how to walk again. Okay, so neurologists, and these are statements coming directly from the article. Neurologists in New York City, Detroit, New Jersey, and other parts of the country have reported a flurry of such cases, and that's the blood clots and the strokes. Okay, many are now convinced that unexplained strokes represent yet another insidious manifestation of COVID-19, the illness caused by the new coronavirus. Okay, so in this article, they're saying that, they don't know where this is coming from. Blood clots and strokes was not a symptom of the coronavirus or the COVID-19 before. So what has changed? Okay, blood clots form when the vessels are not getting enough oxygen. Okay, this is all related. All right, blood clots form when the blood vessels are not getting enough oxygen. So it clumps into one. It's actually trying to save you. Okay, so I want all the family who's listening to know that the body is always towards life. It never wants to self-destruct. It never wants to die. So the blood clot there is trying to save you. It's its last attempt. But what happens is when the blood clot begins to travel, what is called an embolus, okay, when it begins to travel throughout that blood vessel, it gets big enough, that's when the disruption begins. That's when all the blood flow stops, nothing can move. Now you're not getting any oxygen to the lungs, the kidneys, the heart, and this is what causes what they call the sudden death of COVID-19 patients, okay? So here, okay, I show that, here's the title of the article, Coronavirus May Pose a New Risk to Younger Patients. And we talked before saying that this man was 27 years old, 27 years young, okay? So before it was more, the most people at risk were the elders, okay, people who were 65 and older, okay. Then it was people with underlying conditions like high blood pressure, diabetes, cholesterol, all of these underlying conditions. Then now you have it attacking people in my generation. I'm 26. This man, I'm pretty much 27. I'll be 27 soon. So now we really have to have our eyes widen, okay, because there is no age group anymore. It's attacking people of all ages, okay? So here, at the bottom here, you'll see that I put some of the symptoms or signs of a stroke, okay? So again, I'm not a medical doctor, okay? I do not claim to be, and I'm just simply giving you some information of some of the signs that you can see that may be a signs of a stroke or that a loved one may be having a stroke, okay? Now you see here that I highlighted radiation-induced vasculopathy, okay? The most common symptoms of radiation-induced vasculopathy is a headache due to the limited blood flow, ischemia to the brain. So we're gonna put that thought on hold, okay? Because we have to go back into that and talk about why I highlighted the radiation-induced vasculopathy. Okay, so these are some of the signs of a stroke. If anyone is not aware and you're living with a loved one and you want to be aware of what may be some of the signs. Okay, here's some of the signs here. I have sudden numbness or weakness of the face, arm, or leg, especially on one side of the body, confusion, trouble speaking, trouble seeing in one or both eyes, trouble walking, dizziness, loss of balance or coordination, and severe headache with no known cause, okay? So these are some of the signs that if you or your loved one is experiencing this, that you'll know how to act, okay? And at that time, I do suggest you seek medical help, okay? Also, I wanna also touch on signs of low oxygen levels, okay? We're walking around and we don't even know that we have low oxygen levels. We have all of these ailments going on. For one, we don't drink enough water. We're now, and then we're in quarantine. A lot of us are really staying home and not getting outside, not getting fresh air, not getting oxygen, okay? So I want us to be clear and be aware of what are some of the signs of low oxygen levels, or what is called a medical term, hypoxemia, okay? So some of the symptoms of low blood oxygen levels are shortness of breath, a headache, restlessness, dizziness, rapid breathing, chest pain. Many people have been complaining about chest pain, many people, and they'll go to the doctor getting a COVID, a coronavirus test just to make sure that they don't have it. Okay, this is a sign that you have a low oxygen in your body. If you're a person who have anemia, or you get cold a lot, that's your blood flow. Okay, so you want to pay attention to these signs. Okay, confusion, sudden confusion. High blood pressure is also a sign of low oxygen levels. So family, we must get our blood pressure in check, especially our elders, okay? And I said in the beginning, being a holistic practitioner, I made it my duty to get the specific blends in my herbal collection to help the family with these common ailments in our community. I'm trying to make it so that these common ailments become uncommon, okay? Because they were once unheard of when we lived harmoniously in the motherland, okay? So I do have a high blood pressure blend. I do have a cholesterol blend and joint formula for those arthritis conditions, okay? So we have to know that with every ailment, there's a plant there, and there's an herb there, there to heal you, there to protect you, there to remove the inflammation in the body and get the blood flow going, okay? So lack of coordination is another one of low blood oxygen levels. Visual disorders, sense of euphoria, and rapid heartbeat, okay? So you wanna pay attention to all of these signs, because these are signs that your body is lacking oxygen. And again, this attack is due to attacking the cells, attacking the red blood cells, and attacking the blood flow, the oxygen, which is the iron in the blood. So pay attention to those signs, okay, if you begin to experience them. So then that way you'll know how to defend yourself, okay? So we're going back. So I did have the slides all mixed up and in different places, but we're going back. We're right back on track. We're gonna go back to are the current methods of Western medicine using against COVID-19 effective? Okay, are they helping people? Okay, so this is a couple of, again, I don't really have to name every source that I have, but I wanted to so that you can take notes and you can look it up yourself. Okay, I've read every article that I'm presenting to you today in full, no shortcuts, okay? So I know it's in them, and I know, and what I'm giving to you is validated by these reports, and these are coming from doctors. These are coming from researchers and scientists that are saying what I am saying right now, okay? I'm just giving you a more dense version and more version that's not as long-winded, okay? So that we can all be on the same page, okay? I don't want to use any fancy words to confuse anyone. You know, we all family here, and I want to make sure that the family gets this, okay? So you see here, 80% of NYC's coronavirus patients who are put on ventilators ultimately die, and some doctors are trying to stop using them. So if they have these numbers, 80%, why are we still using the ventilators? If we talked about that the patient is lacking oxygen through the removal of the ion of the blood, of the red blood cells, and this is why they lack oxygen, why are we still using ventilators? Okay, and these are the reports here. This is a statement by a doctor named Tiffany Osborne. She says she's a critical care specialist at the Washington University of Medicine. And she told NPR on April 1st, that ventilators could actually damage a patient's lungs. The ventilator itself can do damage to the lung tissue based on how much pressure is required to help oxygen get processed by the lungs. This is stated by her. This is her exact words. Okay, so when they put a patient on these ventilators, most times the pressure is too high, way too high, and it frustrates and inflames the lungs. Okay, the person is getting too much. It ultimately damages the lungs collapse, and these are how people are perishing. Also, there are many of reports and statements made by nurses and doctors saying that people are being left on these ventilators for days. Even when people are purporting or saying that, you know, they lost a family member to COVID-19, that their family member was on the ventilator for 2 weeks. Okay, 2 weeks. And if we're not seeing any improvement, is this the right method to helping a COVID-19 patient? Okay, so what other methods can we use? What other methods are they exploring to be used in a person afflicted with this COVID-19? Okay, so the patients are being left on the ventilators for hours before they subsequently perish due to either respiratory distress, pulmonary infections, and that's the lung. Okay, so again, we talked about the blood clots, and blood clots form when the vessels are not getting oxygen. Okay, now the blood clots, when they become big, they begin to travel. That's when it's dangerous. An embolus, it begins to travel. And when it travels, if it travels to the lungs, that's what's causing the obstruction of oxygen. Can a ventilator help with that? No, it cannot. So now we have to explore why this lack of oxygen is happening and what we can do to maintain adequate blood flow and adequate oxygen in the blood. Okay, this is all internal. Ventilators are an external treatment. Okay. All right, so we have arrived at the, trying to move it so I can read it. We have arrived at the part where this is really crucial into understanding. Okay, go back. Okay. Okay, so we're gonna go back. Give me 1 second. Okay. So now that we know that it's causing an oxygen decrease in the body, that the red blood cells are being robbed of its iron ion and not being able to transport oxygen. Okay, let's be clear. Remember the words hemoglobin, red blood cells, and iron ion, which is iron, which is needed to transport oxygen throughout the blood, throughout the entire body. So what's causing this? What is causing the oxygen decrease in the population? Is there a blockage that we are not overstanding? I have to say this, okay, because I want this information to stay up here and I want the family to understand what's going on at a deeper level, and I wanted many people to understand this, okay? So due to much talk and controversy surrounding this topic, you know, I would use specific code words to relay the information at hand, okay? So EMFs, electromagnetic frequencies, okay, have been studied for decades with over 10,000 studies on wireless network radio frequencies, RFs, okay? This type of radiation network are causing significant acute and chronic health problems, showing an increase in heart diseases, cancer, and diseases of the pancreas. Okay, that's diabetes. Okay, that's sugar issues and even acne. Okay, I call acne the skin, the third kidney, as this is used to as a cleansing method. Okay, so we don't see acne as being an actual disease or a serious ailment, but in fact, it actually is, okay, because it leads to more chronic illnesses later on. In fact, and this is a fact, and I want you guys to check when you purchase a new phone, all right? When you purchase your new cell phone and all of these phones that they're pushing on us today, all right? When in fact, when you receive your cell phone, it comes with a warning stating that this device is known to cause debilitating illnesses, such as brain tumors, cancer, and other diseases. The manufacturer also warns not to place your phone directly on your head, as the radiation can be easily transmitted to the brain. The warning is in all iPhone user manuals. I'm sure it's in all other manuals as well as the Android and Samsung, all of those. But this specific report states that it's in all iPhone user manuals, listing the link between cell phones placed in the bra and pockets as dangerous. Okay, so we've been doing this for some time now. We've been doing this for years. I remember girls used to do this back in the early 2000s, putting their cell phones in their bra, and years later it caused breast cancer. Okay, we put it in our pockets without thinking, without consciously thinking. We put our phones to our ears without consciously thinking. We sleep with our cell phones in our bed without consciously thinking. We have our cell phones close to us while we're sleeping without consciously thinking. And family, we have to begin consciously thinking. Okay, I used to sleep with my phone in my bed a lot until, you know, my mother, she got after me and said, that's dangerous. She told me this as a teenager. And it's now that I'm now seeing the severity of this situation, that now I put my phone way across the room. If you want to use your phone as an alarm, you can still do that. Okay, I suggest you get an alarm clock. I know that sound, depending on which one you get, the sound could be a little annoying. But if you choose to use your cell phone as an alarm clock, put your cell phone all the way across the room, okay? Even if you're sleeping, your phone, nobody needs to be hitting you up 1, 2 in the a.m. when you're supposed to be sleeping, okay? So it's already, whatever, if you put it on do not disturb, it won't hurt you if it's across the room, okay? So that's what I suggest you do. Even if it's better, like I said, get an alarm clock and put the phone outside of the room, okay? So this is important for these little changes that we can do that become habits over time can ultimately save our lives, okay? So now, exposure to high levels of radiation can disrupt the red blood cells, removing the iron, the Fe ion, which is the iron. Now follow me, family. We're gonna repeat that. Exposure to high levels of radiation can disrupt the RBCs, removing the Fe ion, which is your iron, in the hemoglobin, cutting off vital oxygen supply to the cells. So let's go back. We talked about that this is an oxygen issue. This is a cellular issue, okay? That they're using ventilators in an attempt to get more oxygen into the body, okay? But then we found that it's not so much a physical oxygen issue, it's an internal, okay? Whatever this is, this COVID-19 that they're calling it, that is removing the iron ion out of the hemoglobin, cutting off vital oxygen supply to the cells. So can the answer be high levels of radiation? High levels of radiation exposure? Okay, this is what the research is showing, that high levels of radiation removes the iron needed to transport oxygen to other parts of the body, okay? It removes it. And now this is how your blood clots form. This is how strokes happen. Strokes happen when a blood clot is found in the brain. And now the brain, the blood clot is trapped there, causing non-arterial flow, okay? So research has documented the following results, okay? Now, let's be clear. I have to use specific words. I hope you guys are following me. Cannot use specific words so that this can get to the family, all right? Research has documented the following results. High radiation with a bandwidth of 60 gigahertz has alarming effects on the oxygen we breathe as humans. This frequency damages the oxygen molecules, making it impossible for the cells to survive. Okay? This frequency damages the oxygen molecules, making it impossible for the cells to survive. So when the cells die, the individual, the temple, perishes. Can this be the answer to the sudden death that we're experiencing amongst our loved ones, amongst people that we see every day, and all of a sudden the next day they're gone? Okay? In 1 week, we're experiencing 4 deaths, 4 transitions, I like to call it. Okay? We don't say death. The body never dies. The spirit never dies. The body may die, but the spirit doesn't. Okay? So can this be the answer? Okay, so now it's time for critical thinking here. All right, the higher the frequency, the more damaging it is to DNA. More studies are showing a correlation between this type of radiation and melatonin damage, okay? So now, when Dr. Anthony Fauci came out and said that this illness, this virus is attacking people with underlying conditions. And when he went live, he had on a news report, he stated that with this type of situation, I'm not quoting him directly, I'm trying to remember here, dig into my retention center here and remember what he said exactly. And he said something like, if this situation really shines the light on the foibles in our community. Okay, and if you research the word foibles, I'm a word person. I'm a word head. I love words. Knowing the root word of words, it helps you better to understand what is being said. Okay, and words are used to trick you. Okay, so you want to make sure that you're looking up and you know the root word, the Latin term of these words, because that's all the news speak is in Latin. Okay, so when I researched the word foibles, okay, it came back to feeble, okay, that the French adjective for this word is feeble. And I know the word feeble all too well, okay? Every time I think of that word, I think of feeble-minded. And this comes straight out of the eugenics society. Now, this society was put together to create genocide amongst the people without the people knowing it, okay? Remember, this, the best words are silent. Okay, you're not going to see it coming. Okay, so they create programs, they create situations. If anyone watched them, the documentary Ma'afa 21, you're familiar with what I'm saying. If you haven't, please look on YouTube. It's still up. You can search this Ma'afa 21, and it discusses in depth the eugenics society, the plan to create complete genocide against indigenous people. Okay, so this is what Dr. Anthony Fauci was saying in his report. And he talked about, then right after that, he began talking about African Americans, okay, and our underlying conditions may pose a threat more with COVID-19. Why is that? Why before there was a Chinese doctor saying that people with melanin are protected against COVID-19? There even was memes coming out. This guy was actually doing a dance. He was like, hey, you know, Black people, we recovered because of our melanin, okay? And we're dancing, we're laughing. Yes, it was jokes in the beginning, but now it's not joke time anymore because we're seeing our own people perish, okay? So melanin is actually a natural protection against radiation. It's not just a pigment. It's not a skin color, okay? And this has been researched thoroughly by many of our people in our community. I know there's one, if I'm getting the book correctly, Tim Moore. Am I getting it correctly? Yes, I believe his name is Timothy Moore, which is actually my last name. So yeah, so he wrote a book, and I'll grab it here. If anyone wants to. Okay, his name is T. Owens Moore, and he did a book called The Science of Melanin, Dispelling the Myth. And he goes deep of how our melanin is not just a skin color, it's a communication. Melanin is all around us. It's in the soil. It's in the air. Okay, it's layered. The earth is laid and crusted with melanin. Okay, this is what the earth is made of. Okay, and this is what we're made of. Okay, so understanding melanin, understanding yourself, is understanding what's going on here. Okay, so melanin has been long proven to be more than just what gives indigenous people their pigment. It is an intelligence. It protects the DNA by means of the pineal gland, also known as the third eye. Many of us are familiar with the third eye, okay, but not in a more deeper sense of how all of this functions in the body. The pineal gland secretes the hormone melanin at its peak in the night, scavenging the body for invader cells so that it may not harm, it does not do harm to our DNA. It is a natural protection coat against radiation. How can this type of radiation penetrate the cell membrane? Okay, so we talked about the bandwidth of 60 gigahertz. There's so many studies out there talking about this type of high level radiation. And when it's raised at that bandwidth, and this bandwidth has never been this high before, it can easily penetrate the cell membrane. Okay, now what's very interesting about understanding cells, the cell membrane recognizes what enters in the cell and what comes out of the cell. Okay, it automatically protects the inner layer of the cell. So if you eat something, the cell membrane, if it doesn't recognize it, is going to reject it. And that's how we see signs of disease, pain, all of that, because it does not belong in the body. Your body did not recognize it. But what is so diabolical about the foods that we're eating, okay, and I talk about this a lot when it comes to the natural flavors that we see in our food, foods that does not have all whole food nutrition. If the body, let's say you're eating something that you think is healthy. Many of people, we go to Whole Foods and whatever it's in Whole Foods, we think it's healthy, but actually it's not. It's filled with a lot of foods with natural flavors. If you're eating a piece of apple chip and the chip comes with natural flavors, the body's going to recognize the apple, okay? It's going to accept that chip. But by the time it enters in the cell, see, the cell membrane didn't know that natural flavor was coming with it. It recognized one part and didn't recognize the other. So now it invited everything in, and it ultimately destroys the cell in the DNA. Okay, so this is what's happening here. This is what's going on. All right, the levels of radiation is too much. Okay, and then the bandwidth that is being used is too high. It's never been this high before, and it's able to penetrate the cell membrane. And this is why I call it the attack on the blood. This is a cellular attack. Again, your enemy is not going to show his hand and show you the signs of war blatantly. It's going to be silent. This is the most silent way to attack someone, through their DNA, through their cells. Okay, so we have to be clear of what's going on. And now that we know what's happening on a deeper level, what are we going to do about it? What can we do about it? How can we move forward if we know? Okay, many of people are afraid. A lot of radiation is all around them now. It's being established everywhere. Okay, while we're home, it's being established everywhere. Okay, so what can we do to place a void, or not a void, but have our own protection code? Okay, have our own way of protecting ourselves and making sure that we are doing the right thing to arm our army inside of us. Okay, this is important, family. Okay, because this is, if you look at history, or history always repeats itself. If you look into the 1918 Spanish flu, the second wave was worse than the first. We're experiencing loss now. We don't know what's to come in these coming months. So it's crucial that you're conscious of this information. You're constantly seeking and knowing how to defend yourself. Okay. So again, this is a cellular attack. This is a cellular attack. Okay. One must wonder why our phones are named cell phones. Have we been warned with code words? Okay. If you don't require or acquire the proper knowledge of self, you will end up being in a cell and not a physical jail cell. You'll be locked within your own cell, not being able to escape, not with clear understanding of how to navigate the world around you without knowledge of yourself, okay? And we use the word self, C-E-L-L-F, okay? So have we been warned with these words, cell phones, okay? There has been several doctors warning institutions such as the NIH, National Institution of Health, to not roll out this type of radiation. They have thousands of signatures dating back to January of 2019, warning these institutions not to roll out this type of radiation. Yet, it went unheard. It went unheard, okay? It came out, and now we're seeing its effects. In plain words, this type of radiation robs the hemoglobin. Remember this, family. I want you to remember this word after we're done here. In plain words, this type of radiation robs the hemoglobin, which is the molecule in your RBCs, in specific, the iron ion, Fe, making it impossible to transport oxygen throughout vital organs. That's your lungs, your heart, your kidneys, your liver. Now, remember, family, they're not only seeing failure in the lungs, they're also seeing failure in the kidneys, in the liver, in the heart. All organs are shutting down suddenly, which is causing the sudden death of the individual. 60 gigahertz is the frequency of oxygen molecule absorption. 60 gigahertz is the frequency of oxygen molecule absorption. This is the study done by Arizona Homeopathic and Integrative Medical Association. Okay, many people have been reporting on this for some time. All right, and now it is time for us to take action. Okay, how are we going to protect ourselves? How are we going to defend ourselves? How are we going to make sure that we're here 2020 and beyond, here for our children, here for our grandchildren, okay, so that we're not taken out by this, okay? This bandwidth of 60 gigahertz automatically absorbs that molecule, rendering it impossible to transport oxygen. And again, we know oxygen is essential to life. Without it, the cells die. When the cells die, we die. We perish, okay? So it's important for us to digest this information. As we all heard, news reports have announced that there'll be a second wave of the novel coronavirus. And this is one of the last reports on it about a month ago. CDC director warns second wave of coronavirus is likely to be even more devastating than the first. And again, history repeats itself. The Spanish flu second wave was worse than the first. So this is, if this is just a tip, and we've experienced such great transition. You know, at one point every other day I was hearing of someone transitioning. Someone I know who's young, he was in his late 20s, transitioned. Okay, so no one, don't ever for a minute think that you are exempt from this attack. You are safe from this attack if you're not defending yourself. But if you are, and you're in tune, you're spiritually in tune, you're tuning your body, okay? That's what the earth does. The earth is a tuning fork. And now earth is being attacked. So without your earth's tuning fork, how are you going to tune your cells the best way you can? So this is how we're going to get into that. So what are we doing to prepare ourselves for this type of cellular attack? So it comes to the solutions, okay? We come to the solutions. Again, as I said in the beginning, I am an herbalist and iridologist. All right, I study herbs. I know how herbs work. I know what the herb contains, and I know how the herb can vibrate with you, especially during this time. Now that we're talking about what I call my herbal weaponry packages, I want the family to know that food is your first source of your weapon. Knowing what foods to arm your bodies with is crucial to survival, okay? Let's be clear that knowing what foods to eat is crucial for your survival. So at this time, family, I highly suggest that you transition from the diet that we have been taught to eat. We've grown up to eat. We love our chicken. We love our mac and cheese. We love all of it. But our foods are destroying us. Our foods are creating a poor environment. And when you create a poor environment with the foods you eat, whatever virus that may be present, your body will be perfect to thrive in it, taking you out. So is your foods just causing the destruction? Is the foods that we're eating causing our destruction? Remember, they're saying that our underlying conditions are making us more susceptible to this COVID-19. But how do we get these underlying conditions? Our high blood pressure, the cholesterol, diabetes. We get this through diet, okay? High blood pressure is nothing more than the blood forcing itself, it's putting pressure on the arterial walls to move the blood. It's actually saving you. Because if the blood wasn't forced and pressured in that mode, whatever toxin that you put in the body to cause the pressure raise will go directly to the heart, causing sudden heart failure immediately. Okay, so that's what high blood pressure is. Then you have diabetes, okay, which is a disease of the pancreas. And what do we eat so much? What do we love so much that's in our foods? That's in everything we eat. We never know when we're gonna get it. What is that? Sugar. Sugar, family. Sugar's in everything. It's in your bread, your ketchup, your mustard. It's in everything. And you'll never know when you're gonna get it again. It's even in breading of chicken. It's in the lining of your cigarette. And people wonder, why can I not get off these cigarettes? Why can I get off of it? They want to get off of it, but they can't, because they line the cigarettes with sugar. So my first thing I tell you, family, if you want to get off the cigarettes, you want to have a healthy existence, you must eliminate the sugar. It's in everything. Read every label of your foods, because sugar is in everything. They hide it with code words. That's your malt syrup, your barley, yeast, all of this. Know how to decode your own food. We have to be the agents of our own food, okay? Because the FDA is approving food that is banned in other countries, that is killing you. The same foods that the FDA approved is killing you. So are they really protecting you? Are they really valuing humanity? You have to value yourself. You are your own savior, okay? So that's what we must do. Let your food be thy medicine, medicine be thy food. At this time, it is crucial that you learn the different ways and the science of eating. My favorite quote, you don't have to change the menu, you just simply change the ingredients. You want that fried chicken? Okay. You know, there's some fried oyster mushrooms, and there's so many pioneers and the Dr. Sebi movement. If anyone's not familiar with him, he is a well-known healer, okay, that has educated us all while he was here, okay, and living alkaline and going back to our roots and eating the way of our ancestors, eating the way that our body needs us to eat, okay? So there's many of pioneers in the Dr. Sebi Nation that has really became chefs, and our comfort foods that we eat today, they have turned into all alkaline. So you can have your mac and cheese, you can have your chicken, your yams, your collard greens, we can have all of that, okay? You don't change the menu, we just simply change the ingredients, okay? So open your minds into eating better. And once you do that, you'll be able to think more clearly, okay? grab that cookbook, grab that alkaline cookbook. There's many alkaline chefs out there who has been doing their thing, and they do it for us. They do it for you. So let's grab a hold of it and take it so that we can protect ourselves. That's the ultimate thing. We here to protect ourselves. All right, by any means necessary. All right, and that's Malcolm right there. And that, as a matter of fact, his birthday is coming up in about 2 days. So by any means necessary, we're protecting this temple by any means necessary. All right, family. So here you have some of my solutions that I've come up with. I call it my herbal weaponry packages. Now, this is a 2-month supply for just $85, okay? $85, you have a 2-month supply, okay? Again, this is not, they're saying that this will hit in the fall. You wanna make sure that you have enough supply to feed your cells, and this is why I created a 2-month supply. So chlorella, all right, you'll be getting 4 ounces of chlorella. You'll be getting 4 ounces of my blood cleanser that I put together. Sarsaparilla, infused with ginger, which 4 ounces, and my sea mineral blend, which is sea moss, burdock root, and bladderwrack. Okay, you know sea moss, when this thing first hit, that's been vibrating off the tongue ever since, and I love it. I love it. Everybody is learning what sea moss is, and I am enjoying it. So I'm going to tell you why I picked this package, and because I don't just pick things just to say, okay, take this. There's always a reason and a science behind it. So chlorella has a molecular structure. Chlorella, now chlorella is a sea algae. It's a green algae. It's rich in chlorophyll. And what does chlorophyll do? It feeds the red blood cells, okay? Red blood cells, again, contains the iron ion to transport oxygen. This is what you need. You need foods, herbs, and algae that's going to do that for you. So chlorella has a molecular structure almost the same as hemoglobin. The only difference is that the chlorella carries a different ring, which is the magnesium, while hemoglobin carries the ring, the iron. Okay, so you're going to need both in order to feed that cell, okay, in order to move the blood. Okay, so we know that oxygen is the prime nutrient. It's the prime nutrient, and chlorophyll is the central molecule for increasing the oxygen availability to one's systemic, which is the system, your whole body system. So we'll read that again. Chlorophyll is the central molecule for increasing the oxygen availability to one's systemic circulation. Chlorophyll helps to increase the number of red blood cells in the blood, okay? Remember, family, all throughout this presentation, we talked about hemoglobin and we talked about red blood cells. So now that we're on solutions, we want to make sure that we're taking products that are feeding our what? Our red blood cells. And this is what I found chlorella to do. It helps with anemia, okay? It helps with blood flow to the heart and the lungs. This algae has the highest chlorophyll content, which you need chlorophyll to feed the blood, okay? Chlorophyll equals blood. Same thing with a plant, how it gets its color, you need chlorophyll, okay? So now we're on to sarsaparilla, all right? And I put sarsaparilla and ginger together. Anytime you put ginger with any herb, it speeds up the transport of that herb in the body. It automatically opens up the portals and the blood vessels and the tissues for cleansing to begin. Ginger is very, very good with any herb, and I love ginger. Is good for almost anything. Anybody say they have an illness? Ginger. Okay, so I pair ginger with the sarsaparilla, and I found even when I begin understanding diet and what we need, that sarsaparilla is the highest plant. It's the plant with the highest amount of iron. In the plant kingdom, it has the highest amount of iron. So it contains calcium oxide. And calcium oxide is what? High in oxygen and absorption of carbon dioxide. See, all of this ties into what I was saying in the beginning, that the lungs, the person collapses or perishes due to an overload of carbon dioxide in the system due to a blockage. A blocking. What is that blockage? The blood clot. It's not flowing. The blood is not flowing enough to the lungs. And when that blood clot reaches the lungs, there's an overload of carbon dioxide. the carbon dioxide is in the blood to flow out through the lungs. Remember, you're constantly breathing in oxygen and releasing carbon dioxide. That is one of the components of your blood, okay? It carries deoxygenated blood to the lungs to release the carbon dioxide. And look at that, sarsaparilla contains the calcium oxide, high in oxygen, and absorption of carbon dioxide. Look at that. So I really have a full understanding of what we need as a family to help us through this time, as well as food. Don't forget food, okay? Don't you gonna eat these products, take these products and eat what you want. You still gotta arm your army, okay? And again, sarsaparilla is rich in iron, okay? So then I have the blood cleanser, which includes many blood cleansing and strengthening herbs, and including also sarsaparilla, burdock root, red clover, and much more, okay? So this is a whole tea. It's a tea. So these are all teas, okay? And then you just drink the tea. Then some of them are bitter. I'll tell you that. Not, you know, and the more bitter it is, the more cleansing it is, okay? So, you know, we can't be really concerned with taste at this time. We have to really be for health if you want to be here, okay? If you want to stay here and stay here without suffering, okay? So the seed mineral blend, which is my sea moss, burdock root, and bladderwrack, you're gonna get 9 ounces of the powder. Now you have the option of getting the powder or the gel. It's up to you. But you'll get all of this in the package. And the sea mineral blend brings restoration to the cells, cleansing the tissues, getting in those tissues, because that's where the toxins will hide, in the tissues. It extracts those toxins from the tissues. That's why sea moss has been everywhere, okay? Cleansing the tissues, the mucous membranes, which mucus is what? The cause of all disease. Viruses thrive in a mucus environment, okay? And it cleanses the lining of the blood vessels, okay? The lining of the blood vessels holds high mineral content, which is needed to sustain life, okay? So this package is this is not throwing something together. This is all based on research and how these herbs will vibrate with the body, more specifically the red blood cells. So this you can find on my website, which I will leave at the end in the bio of my video, and that's www.holisticalove.com, HOLISTICA palace.com, okay? And this will be available immediately, you know, so that we can arm ourselves. We'll know what we can do, okay, to defend our temple, okay? So just $85. If you were to buy these products separately, it'd be over $100, okay? I made it $85 for a 2-month. You're getting it for 2 months, so just think $43 a month, $42 a month. You're protecting yourself, okay? You're protecting your temple for $42 a month. There's no number greater than you. You are the greatest number. So we have to stop putting numbers above ourselves when we say, oh, something is expensive, the way we view it, but you are worth it. You being here is worth it, okay? So $85, 2-month supply, you're getting chlorella, blood cleanser, sarsaparilla infused with ginger, and seed mineral blend, which is the sea moss, burdock root, and bladderwrack. And again, you can get that in a gel or the powder, okay? I'll have that on my website where you can choose which one you want, okay? Ooh. I don't even know how long we've been going, but I know my voice was getting a little dry, so I'm like, let me get that H2 out, all right? So we're gonna go to the next one. So this is just solutions part 2. What are we doing to protect ourselves in this light of this attack, all right? Focusing in on health. So this here is like a list that I put together of the order of health, okay? We want the herbs, of course, herbs are great, but we must know that there's an order to health, Okay, the herb may not work if the body is not properly detoxed. Okay, so number one thing I say again is food. What foods are you eating? Okay, that are contributing to your health. Food is your source of communication to the cells. The cells require sun foods to be transferred into energy. Whole food nutrition is key. Okay, I'm going to say that again. Whole food nutrition is key. That's your food that is recognized by the cells. Okay, unfortunately, I'm sorry, y'all. You know, and I'm sorry too for myself. When I first started my lifestyle, chicken is not recognized by the cells. Okay, our foods that we love so much are not recognized by the cells. So if it's not recognized, what is it causing? Okay, it's building up so that we will experience disease, which is just simply disharmony in our body. So we want to make sure that we're getting foods that vibrate with us, that energize us, that contributes to our positive health, our positive vibration. Okay, that's your nuts, your seeds, your grains, your fruit, your vegetable, all of these foods in the rainbow. You want to make sure you can have. Now we're not getting enough. We're not getting enough. And how do we get enough? How do we make sure we're getting enough? Okay, so I'll leave some information in the bio of other ways that we can gain more nutrition. I also do a lot of meetings on this twice a week, okay, of different ways that we can get nutrition. So I encourage you all to tune in and know how can we bridge that gap into getting more rainbow in our diet. Okay, when we see our plate, we don't see rainbow all the time. Okay, so we want to make sure that we're getting that and feeding our body that, feeding our children that, okay, every single day. All right, and again, your food is your communication. Okay, it communicates with cell to cell and uses it for energy. So the body will automatically recognize a raspberry. That raspberry will assimilate all throughout the body and go to its necessary departments to use its energy for you. If you ever notice you're eating and after that you feel tired, or what they call the itis, that means that you ate something that that didn't give you energy, it robbed you of your energy. We used to joke and call it the itis. You know, there's episodes on the Boondocks, like they're eating and they're like, oh, you know, like they ate so much and that feeling of like it feels good, but actually it robbed you of your energy. We don't want anything robbing us. We say all the time, if anything robs me my peace, I don't want it. Same thing that goes with food. Okay, we got to be more conscious of how we're eating. Okay, the time is now, and people in my generation, you know, if we start now, we don't have to suffer from high blood pressure and diabetes like some of the people that we're seeing. Okay, we want, again, you don't dig a well for water after you become thirsty, or you don't pick up a sword after the fight has started. You already are prepared for that fight so that you can defend your body as best as possible. Okay, you start now and you don't have to live a suffering life. Okay, you be flexible all throughout your life. You're aging backwards all throughout your life. Okay, the process of aging comes from how a person eats. So it's not disease that makes, it's not age that makes you sick. It's the sickness that's causing you to age. It's the disease that's causing you to age, and that comes from your food source. Okay, sunlight. Adequate sunlight is needed to transmit vitamin D, and a deficient of vitamin D leaves you open for many diseases. Okay, even within the midst of this COVID-19, or what they call the coronavirus, they're saying many of patients had deficiency in vitamin D. They're now starting to prescribe a vitamin D prescription for newborns, automatically deeming them vitamin D deficient. Okay, I don't fully agree with it. There's many natural sources of vitamin D. You can find it in your fruits, your vegetables, and of course, sunlight. Okay, that's what the sun is there for. Okay, it gives you your minerals. That's the best, good way to get your mineral content. Okay, another way is to ground your feet to the earth. getting all those ions transmitted from the feet to the body. Okay, your feet has to be bare on the soil. Okay, bare on the soil. And what I like to say, and as my dear teacher taught me, when your feet or your body is submerged in soil, that's the cleanest your body will be. We automatically think this is dirty. I'm not walking barefoot on that, but you're covering up with socks. You're covering up with shoes, and you're not, and you're just covering up from the earth. The earth is here for you. You're not getting the earth's energy by walking in shoes and socks all the time. So you want to make sure that you're grounding to the soil, because the sunlight hits the soil directly, giving all of its minerals and ions. Okay. Water, H2O, is crucial for oxygenation. That's your oxygen transport. You are 70% water. Water is your source of oxygen. A lot of us don't drink water on a daily. We don't drink water on a daily. And what did we say low levels of oxygen is? The hypoxemia, the high blood pressure, the rapid breathing, the chest pain. Have you asked yourself, did you have a water today? I think the rule is half your body weight in ounces, okay? Or even a gallon a day, okay? That may not work for some people, okay? I used to do a gallon a day. It was too much for me. So I just do half my body weight in ounces. Or you can make sure you're eating fruits and vegetables with a high water content. If you're a person who forgets to drink water, or, you know, just forget, or you may not like water, you better start liking it. I didn't want to say that, but you better start liking it. But if you forget to drink water, that's your watermelons, okay? Your cucumbers, all the melons are high in water. And we're upon summertime, spring, summer, whatever, and watermelon season is here, all right? So this is the time to juice your watermelon, eat your watermelon, eat all those high water fruits and vegetables in your diet. That's how you're going to get your H2O. Okay, that's another way to get your H2O. Remember what water you're drinking. Some water could rob you. You don't want that purified water. Make sure it's spring, distilled, okay, or high mineral water, okay, and that's your what they call the alkaline water. Okay, so if you are experiencing disease, I do suggest drinking alkaline water until you bring your pH to status quo. But if not, spring water every day is perfectly fine. So then you have, again, the last, herbal medicine. Using the right herb to defend against disease and cellular attack is needed as armor. So we talked about that in the last slide. Okay, knowing what herb to use to defend yourself, knowing what food allergy to use to defend yourself against this specific attack. Okay, name of the game here is building up the red blood cells and building and feeding the hemoglobin in your body so that you may have iron to transport that oxygen. Okay, and I forgot one, exercise. Exercise, I forgot one. You want to make sure you're walking every day. You're doing some type of exercise at least 30 minutes out the day. That gets oxygen into the lungs. It conditions your lungs. It creates an environment so that your lung cells will know how to defend itself, will be more stronger to defend itself than when it's not conditioned. So exercise, and that's you can walk a day, you can walk in your apartment, whatever you want to get it in. I actually ordered a bike, in-home bike, because we have no access to the gym. So I'm making sure that I'm going to get 45 minutes in that bike. Okay, so you should definitely look into even building a little home gym or whatever it is. Make sure you're getting some type of exercise in your day. So once you have created the above steps of health and wellness, no disease can thrive in the human body temple. Your blood can flow freely without force, traveling to all the organs in the body. Okay, so you must create an environment where no disease can thrive, where no pathogen, no bacteria can thrive. Okay, where where the radiation that we talked about also, that you'll be more equipped to handle it. Now, again, this is not a promise of benefits. I'm simply giving you the information so that you can take action this is the way you take action. Action doesn't always mean holding a gun or being or physically fighting. This is now a different way of fighting. This is internal strategic fighting, and that's fighting with your built-in military system in your body. Okay, so this is so much information. I don't even know what time it is. I'm actually going to check. I believe this is the end of the slide. Yes, this is it. This is it, yes. Okay, so I hope that you all got a lot from this presentation. I enjoyed sharing it with you. Again, we must be prepared. We must know how to defend ourselves. I gave you some ways that you can. The herbal weaponry package, which is $85. That's your chlorella blood cleanser, sarsaparilla with ginger, and sea mineral blend. Those are your herbal weaponries that should be in every cabinet if you are around these type of high radiation frequencies, okay? So that you can defend yourself, so that you can be armored up and protected to defend yourself, okay? We talked about food, that right now during this time it's crucial that we do not eat any fast food, not a one, not a time. Every time you pass by a fast food, you kind of compute it in mind that this is a killer. This is killing me. That's how I've done it for myself. This is killing me because it's not food. I actually call it frankenfood, or foodless food. It doesn't do anything for the body. Remember, every time you eat, it should sustain you. We're eating for nutrition. We're eating to build ourselves. So if you're eating for something else, then there's no purpose, and everything has a purpose. Okay. I'm still available again for consultations, for my iridology consultations. I'll also leave a link in the video of how you can contact me. Again, I do iridology, which is the study of the eyes and revealing what's going on in the body. Right now, I'm doing virtual consultations through Skype. Now, I've been doing this before all of this came about, but right now it's crucial that all the business that I do is now on Skype. So what Skype is, Skype and consultations, you get an hour with me. You send me pictures of your eyes, all right? I go over those pictures and we hop on a Skype call and I go over all of the findings, and you'll get clear instructions on how to do everything, clear instructions on how to take the pictures, what you'll need for the consultation. All the information is on my website as well, okay, to book a consultation with me. Therefore, I know what herb you need, what food you need, and then you'll also be able to have the opportunity to purchase a personalized detox plan, which I love so much that I put together. It's a tailor-made plan for you based upon your reading, based upon your consultation. So again, this is no guesswork. This is no guesswork. This is all put together. This is all, the plan will be made just for you. Okay, so I'm open for that. Family, we're gonna come to an end. I believe it's been almost an hour and a half. You can follow me on IG. That's at Holistic Hope, WHOLISTIC Hope. My Facebook page and the name of my business is called Finding Your Beauty, and that's FINDING, Finding Your Beauty. I'm on Facebook. That's my business page, and my websites. I'll leave that in the bio as well. But the website to purchase the weaponry package and the to book a consultation, Holisticalove.com, HOLISTICA Palace.com. Okay, I thank you all. You watched this to the end. I thank you so much for tuning in. This is for you. I do this for us so that we have the tools we need to prepare for this kind of attack. It's better to be prepared than to wait around and wish you had. Okay. So thank you so much, family. I appreciate you so much. Again, the links will be in the bio. You can check, click the link. If you want to support me in the work that I'm doing, my Cash App is Holisticalove, and I'll leave my PayPal and all my information there. Okay, so share with the family, share with your friends. This is information that we need to move forward. All right. So thank you all so much for tuning in. I appreciate you and your time and your attention, as it is very expensive. Peace and love, Empress Shakirah. Thank you.